Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Brittany Runs a Marathon. This movie is rated R. It's an hour and 44 minutes long, and the Movie Review Mom grade that I gave it is a B, and I'll tell you why. But first, in a quick nutshell, surprisingly emotional, this inspiring Amazon Studios dramedy slash rom-com offers a fresh and realistic look at a single woman forced to make some changes in her life. We're all running a marathon in our life, philosophically speaking, right? So there are some little nuggets of wisdom that we can all learn from in this movie. It's just too bad that it has to include so much garbage and trash to tell the story. And by the way, it's a true story, and you get to see pictures of the real Brittany at the end of the movie. Some quick tips for parents. This is a rated R movie, so there is a lot of talk and display of sexuality. People in bed, people referring to various kinds of non-marital relations, and a lot of inappropriate type of language and behavior. There's lots of profanity, including lots of F-bombs, some crude language, name-calling, religious exclamations, scatological terms, and alcohol and drugs, some prescription, some illegal, and some addiction, and mention of all of that. Brittany is basically a hot mess, and so she's not exactly the perfect role model that your daughters are going to want to emulate. However, she does learn some important life lessons that are definitely worth talking to your daughters about. Now, some positive themes are change and feeling good about yourself, identity, self-respect, body image, and a lot of talk about body shaming, which for many of us women is a serious issue. However, it's done in a comical way. Turning your life around and second chances are also really good positive themes worth talking about. Judging people and taking responsibility for your life, friendship, marriage, divorce, dating, success versus failure, and how do we define those? Validation, rejection, acceptance for others and for yourself are also themes. And the balance of taking care of yourself versus being self-centered or selfish, which is a balance, right? There's an interesting quote by Demetrius, who's a character played by Lil Ray Howery, and he says, "Let people in." And that's another big theme, especially as we're going through changes, to be very vulnerable with your weaknesses, which Brittany is in this movie, but also to accept help. You don't have to do everything by yourself, and to open up your circle of friendship. Some things that I liked about the movie are, first of all, you might not be familiar with Jillian Bell. I had seen her in some things, but I couldn't really remember what I had seen her in. But she is perfect in this role, and she gives a very honest performance and does a really great job. She is this movie. She, in fact, lost 40 pounds during the filming of this movie. And I know that she can definitely relate to this story because of her own personal experiences with weight loss and body image and all of that. She also worked with a marathon trainer that helped her kind of identify how she was supposed to run as a that's my running, as a beginner runner versus a little bit later on, how she was supposed to run as a more experienced marathon runner. I have no aspirations to run a marathon, but I definitely have respect for those that do. And especially someone like Brittany that's probably built a little bit like me to get out there and run and have this admirable goal. I just thought that that was really well done. And so kudos for her. I love the details, in fact, that they gave us very subtly in the movie. And I love subtlety in movie. For example, I don't have to see everybody in bed, rolling around, gyrating and all of that stuff to know what's happening. You could just, have some clothes on the floor and the door closed, and I get it. So there's nothing subtlety with the relationships in this movie. But there were some subtle details that I really appreciated. For example, the camera pans down and you see Brittany's toes with chipped toenail polish, and that tells us a lot about her and her life. And I really loved that. And I wish filmmakers would use subtlety more in their movies. And again, there's not a whole lot that's very subtle in this movie. And that's my biggest complaint, is that there's just unnecessary trash, in my opinion. Of course, I movie review mom. So of course this is coming from a mom's perspective, but it's handled very well with humor, I must say. New York City is featured in the movie and is always a lovely leading lady. This was actually the very first time a non-documentary film crew was able to film during the New York City Marathon. So I thought that was pretty cool. And in fact, they say that during the marathon, as she was filming some scenes and she was getting really tired and struggling, people didn't realize that this was a feature film. They thought maybe it was a documentary because there were cameras and things like that around, but they, went to help her, and she was like, no, I'm okay. And they didn't realize this was just a feature film and she was acting. But anyway, writer director Paul Downs Colizo, I don't know how to say his name, actually wrote the script after a friend of his named Brittany actually raced or ran in a marathon, and he was inspired by that story. So I thought that was really neat. A lot of women viewers in this movie will be able to relate to Brittany's body shaming struggle, as I mentioned. And so I think this movie will appeal to a lot of women. There will be some who won't be able to relate to any of the people in the story, and that's okay too. Again, it's an inspiring story for some people, and I don't know if that person is you or not. But anyway, the ending makes you want to run out there and get in a marathon yourself. Well, almost. The cast includes a lot of faces that you've probably seen before, but like me with Jillian Bell, I couldn't quite remember where I had seen her before, but I thought that the cast did a really great job. And it includes Michaela Watkins, I don't know how to say his name, Utkarsh Ambudkar. I'm sorry about that. Lil Ray Howery, Micah Stock, Alice Lee, and Patch Dara. I'm probably not pronouncing his name correctly either. Anyway, I thought that they all did a great job and they were very believable cast. A few things that I didn't like. As I've mentioned before, I don't need to hear all the profanity. I don't need to see all of the encounters between men and women and whatnot. So that just kind of felt like unnecessary trash. But there were some other things too that had an effect. There was some sloppy transitions and editing, which kind of surprised me for a feature film. And of course, it's very formulaic and predictable. I guess you could call this a sports movie in that there's sort of the underdog and you're rooting for that person to do well and to, in her case, meet her goal. And then I hate watching people make horrible life choices. Anyway, but other than that, there were some good moments. If you like this movie, you might be interested in a movie called From Fat to Finish Line, actually. Anyway, that's it for my review. You can check out that link and some other information on moviereviewmom.com and read some of my other information about the review or about the movie. If you watch it, I hope you enjoy. I hope you're inspired by it. Maybe we'll all get out there and start running. I've got an excuse because I had a recent foot injury and surgery. But anyway, I'll do my crunches tonight and I'll think of her and be inspired. Anyway, bye for now.